Yeah, I used to roll backwoods, Rick the Dawn's good wherever he goes. 1 million and one flows, depositing dough. Said you down with the mafia family, let me know. Yeah, number one, I don't do number two. They watching how I do, because I'm really hood. Red hoodie, gold jewelry, too groovy, might lose me. Don't approach with the foolery, keep the two on me, homie. You don't know me, Rick the Dawn, the one and only. Yeah.
Hey, yo, it's your man, Rick the Dawn. Welcome to the Really Hood Podcast. Today, we are talking about addiction. Now, addiction is something very, very serious, and a lot of people struggle with it. And this is why I decided to do this episode, because I also struggle with various forms of addiction. I have since figured out a way to conquer it, and I had to share with y'all in my podcast. How do you beat addiction? Whether the addiction is marijuana, it can be alcohol, it can be sex, it can be pornography, it can be masturbation, it can be crack. I don't care what the addiction is. There is a way to beat it. And I'm going to give you what I think works. Step one, I want you to identify what you are addicted to. So at this time, let's take this slow. All right. Everybody is going to, if you're listening to this, I want you to I want you to say out loud if you can. If you can't say it out loud because you're in a space with a lot of people in your brain, I want you to say or out loud say what you are addicted to right now. Wine. That's mine. At one point or another, I had become very, very addicted to alcohol. Wine was definitely that thing for me. And I tell you how it happened. It was very slick how wine kind of weaseled its way in. I was never really addicted to liquor because of the taste, but I love juice. So that's how wine snuck in, because wine understands that I love juice. And I don't like liquor because it's just too strong for me. So I like wine. Wine also knows that I still enjoy that feeling of being kind of like buzzed or high or whatever it is. That little feeling you get when you drink or smoke weed or whatever. So wine understood that. And it gave me exactly what I wanted. It gave me the nice juice taste, but it also gave me that nice buzz feel. That is how it got me. Wine at certain points had really taken over. I mean, I would wake up and I would work hard, do my thing. And when the day was done, I go give me some wine. Now, most people might say, hey man, there's nothing wrong with that. You worked hard for the day and you're drinking some wine. Who's tripping about that? Who's mad about that? Really, I get that. But the thing about it is, I can tell you for certain, and many wine drinkers can tell you this, wine has a way of just like taking over. You end up drinking, you feel so good that the next day you're like, I have to go back to that feeling. I want that again. And that's what it was for me. Wine kind of made me feel free again. It made me happy. And it was even better that wine was in the Bible. So I would always use that as an excuse and say, hey, Jesus turned water into wine, so it has to be okay. But I ignored the parts where Jesus said that, or not, I don't know if Jesus said it specifically, but the Bible does allude to the fact that God is against strong alcohol or strong drinks. So you drinking this hard liquor, you're in direct opposition to that book. Also, there's scripture that states that a drunkard will not be allowed into heaven. These are things that were always on my conscience. So it's like you can drink and drink, occasionally. You can drink recreationally, but when it becomes so important in your life that you have to do it religiously every day, that is where you start to find yourself in trouble in life. And I think also with God himself, because again, he's against strong drinks. Also, drunkards will not be allowed in heaven, according to that book. When you start to overdo it, I think that's when things start to get real. And for me, honestly, openly, I've overdone wine several times over. I'm talking about drinking 2 bottles a day. It's got to that point. I think a couple times in my life, recently even, I drank 3 bottles in one day. Just like whatever, you know? And at that point, it's no longer recreational. It's become something that you depend on. And I found out the way to stop drinking. For example, right now, I have gone about 26 days without a speck of wine. And anybody who's addicted to anything, really addicted to anything, I want you to imagine going 26 days without it. And you would understand how long it's been and how hard that is, right? And I wanted to share with everybody my method. Here is how you stop an addiction. Number 1, here's my question to you. What is the most important thing to you in your life? What is number 1? What is the one thing, one person, one place, one thing that you cannot live without? What is the one thing that takes place over everything in your existence? If you got to pause this podcast and come back, then do that. I want you to think about the one most important thing to you in your life. I don't know what it is. You know what it is. What is the one thing that if it left you, you'll just crumble? What is that thing for you? Think about it. I'll give you some time. Think about it. Pause this podcast episode if you have to. Write down, 5 things that mean a lot to you and just number it and break it down to the number one thing. Once you find the most important thing to you in all of your existence, then we can do some work. Now we can do some business. Now we can have a real conversation. What is the most important thing to you, person to you, entity to you ever? Once you have identified the most important thing to you, then you have your ingredient, the main ingredient to stopping your addiction. Because here is what I would like for you to do with that most important thing. I want you to dedicate 30 days, 20 days, 10 days, 15 days, 5 days, however many days you want to dedicate to that particular thing. Here's an example. Let's say that the most important thing to you in your entire life is your father. Dedicate 10 days of sobriety or 10 days without doing the thing that you're addicted to your father. And I want you to place this stipulation there. If you decide to do your addiction before your 10-day dedication to your father runs out, then you have to admit that you love your addiction more than you love your father. You understand that? You see how that works? I want you to put your addiction versus your father. And I want you to say, I want to dedicate 10 days to my father. And if I get to the end of this 10 days, that is my dedication to my father. That means that I love my father more than this addiction. But I also want you to say this. If you can't go 10 days without doing this addiction, that means that you love this addiction more than your own father. And I promise you, if you make it that way, it will change the way you look at that addiction. You'll say, you know what? I don't care how much I want to do this. I don't care how much I want to do that. I love my father more than anything. I can give my father 10 days. And if you can't give your father 10 days, then you got a problem. Because what happens is when it comes to your addiction, a lot of people like to say, I'm not addicted to it. I just do it. It's fun for me. But when you put that addiction up to something that you love and you can't go that whole time span without doing that addiction, then it's very clear that addiction is your new father. Now your new father is alcohol. It's more important to you than anything else on this planet. And once that happens, you can go ahead and just say, hey, I need some help, because that's what keeps people from getting help, from being able to lie to themselves and say, well, I'm not really addicted to this. I don't have this problem. Well, here's my challenge to you. I want you to tell me, what is your number one, what thing do you love the most in all of the planet? And I want you to go just 10 days without your addiction, because you're going to dedicate this 10 days to the thing that you love. And if you can't go 10 days without doing the thing that you're addicted to, that means that you actually love this addiction more than the thing that you said you love. If you can't do that, if you can't go 10 days, guess what? Your new God is alcohol. I'm sorry to tell you. Now, let me go ahead and tell you about my personal journey. Wine was something that I was addicted to. So you know what I did? I put wine against the one thing that I love more than anything on this planet. And I'll share that with you. It is God. It is Jesus Christ. It is his father, God, Jehovah Jireh. I put alcohol against Jehovah Jireh. And I said, I'm going to dedicate 30 days to my faith in God. And if I take so much as a millisip of some wine, if I just let a drop hit my tongue, then wine is my new God. You understand? That's what I told myself. And I had already did the work, because I know how my brain is. My brain is very crafty. I said, if you try to wiggle out of this in any way, I don't care if somebody bought you a free alcoholic beverage. I don't care if you went to a party, you didn't know they was going to have drinks. I don't care. There is no excuse. There is no excuse. If you drink a sip of alcohol before this 30 days is over, I don't care if you drink it on 29 days and 23 hours. If you drink just an hour short of this dedication being completed, wine is your new God, and you no longer place God above everything in your existence. And you know what that did? That changed everything. Because I'm going to be honest with you. This is my second 30-day dedication. I have already completed 30 days. I did my first 30 days. I dedicated 30 days to my God. I said, Lord Father, wine is becoming very, very serious in my life. And to show you that I love you more than anything on this planet, I'm going to dedicate 30 days to no drinking alcohol. And guess what happened, folks? I went 30 days dry. I went a full 30 days without a single sip of alcohol. And why? Because I don't love alcohol more than I love my God. That's why. So you got to find what is the most important thing to you. What means everything to you? Who is the most? What is the most important thing to you? Dedicate some time to that thing you love the most, against that thing you're addicted to. And when I did that, I went 30 days without a sip of alcohol. Now, I will be honest. Once that 30 day was up, I was like drinking, pouring cups. Right. So what happened was, because I went 30 days without alcohol, once that 30 days was up, I'm talking about at 12:01 a.m. I was drinking, dog. I was like, look, I made it. It was a marathon. But this is the funny part, though. Here's the funny part. So when I got back to drinking, it made me feel bad. I was like, dude, I've been clean for 30 days and I feel terrible again. I feel like, yo, it was fun for like the first couple, maybe a day or two. But after that, it became an addiction again. And I started to notice that my energy started to go down. I started sleeping all the time. I started feeling bad. I started thinking the wrong stuff. I started doing all the stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing. I'm like, bro, I got to do another 30-day dedication. So right now, I'm in the middle of another 30-day dedication. Right now, I'm on like day 26. So in 4 days, my next episode, I'm gonna probably be like, oh, you're gonna probably be like, yo, you look a little different, bro. You must have been drinking again. Might be a little pudgy too. But listen, I went and did another 30 days. So right now I'm on like day 26. So that's like in a minute, it's gonna be 60 days of just alcohol free. And what I'm hoping happens is every time I do this, drinking alcohol becomes less and less popular. They say it takes about 18 to 21 days to stop a habit. I just went 30 days, and then I'm going another 30 days. That's 60 days of no drinking. And I will be honest with you, I do want to drink really bad. It's Saturday right now. It's September 11th, all right? And rest in peace to the fallen. I want to drink right now, badly. But I don't want to drink more than I love my God. You understand that? I love my God so much, I will give up anything for any amount of, and I got to be careful. One day I'm going to just dedicate a whole year to him. And I'm afraid of what that's going to look like for me. I know, and here's the thing. I'm not afraid because I think I'm going to actually, break that promise. Because there's nothing on this planet I'll break that promise for. If I dedicate any amount of time to God, it's done. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. I just worry that I'm just going to be just a wreck for a year because I'm just like, yo, I don't. But it's been interesting because now that I've stopped drinking, I've had more energy. I'm doing more stuff. I'm doing more work. I've been more positive. I mean, it's changed my outlook on life, right? People might be like, yo, if you follow me on social media, you might like, this dude dropping videos every day or every other day. It's because I don't have nothing else to do. When I was drinking, I was like in a bed sleep. So, dedicating 30 days to my Father has certainly opened up my life again. You know what I'm saying? And in 4 days, I'll get a chance to drink. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a drink. Listen, I want to drink some wine so bad. Cause here's my thing. Wine is not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad to drink wine. What the problem is when it becomes an addiction. But as long as you can enjoy it responsibly, you're solid. But a lot of people can't do that. They say they can, but they can't do it. Right? So when I stopped drinking the first 30 days, when I got back to drinking, I realized it started to happen every day. I would tell myself, like, all right, today I'm not going to drink. I'm just going to chill. But then I found myself walking into a wine store and grabbing some wine. So I'm like, oh my gosh, man, this addiction is just like, it's deep rooted. When I finish this next 30 days, in about 4 days, I'll be done. I'm going to go back to drinking, but I'm going to challenge myself to say, hey man, don't drink every day. If I can't take a couple of days off from drinking wine, I'm going on another 30-day dedication because that's going to tell me I'm still addicted to it. But if I can take a couple of days off and just be myself and just relax, then I won't do this dedication again. I did this dedication because it got really bad for me. It got drastic for me. It was drastic measures. I was overweight. When it gets that bad, you gotta go into desperate measures, man. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And at that point, I gotta call on my love for my God. You know what I'm saying? I gotta dedicate something to him as a sacrifice. I'm sacrificing wanting to feel good. I'm sacrificing alcohol. He's probably looking at me every day drinking this wine and saying, I wonder if he loved that wine more than me. I want to test my son. And when he put that test in my heart, in my mind, I said, it's done. It's done. I'm going to do 30 days just to show you ain't nothing more important to me than my God. Okay? Nothing more important to me. So I put that wine down for 30 days. And when I start drinking again after that 30 days, what I do? I put it down for another 30. It's done. And when I complete this 30 days, if I go back to drinking every day, guess what? I'm going to drop another 30 days. And if wine is not careful, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 60 days. Then I might do a year. Or then I might just push the nuclear bomb button and say, if you love God, then you will dedicate your entire life to no drinking alcohol. Hey, wine, if you want to stay around, don't keep on being greedy. Just take a couple days out my week and you know what I'm saying, and keep it pushing. But if you want to be greedy and you want to have every single day of my life, then guess what? There is a way to stop you. And I figured it out. And that is to dedicate sobriety to my Father. That is the solution. Hey, check out this tune. We'll be back to wrap this up. JJ. Ow. Ah. How old you, bro? Hey. Rick the Dawn, baby, I'm a thousandaire. Went from street wars to wars with YouTube. Don't war with my people, build up my people. My son RJ, he gon' be the sequel. Don't need rap, I could retire. Sour line while you flow hotter than fire. You ain't doing nothing less than white boys looking. Only black boy that got them white boys shookin'. Old car, but I'm saving a lot. Give me 5 years, I'm buying a block. Took a little break from social media. Hit the stock market, got my digits up. I'll stump you until you're unconscious. Maybe next time, no playing with mobsters. Rick the Boogeyman, ain't scared of no monsters. AK-47 chasing the monsters. Air Jordan 11, same color as Elmo. Yo, weird and some shell toes. And some skater clothes. Like a goof, my comeback is the proof. Omar with the juice, yeah. Juice with the knife. Don't bet your life. Responsible for 2. I ain't even try. Lost about 2. I ain't even cry. You illy sucking Lucy. He ain't even fly. Angels up, dummy. All D's on the slow end. Cool with layups. As long as they go in. I'm fine. Hope you catching on to every line. 2022 is mine. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Listen, I would like for you to identify the most important person in your life. And I would like for you to dedicate 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, 30 days, 100 days, a year, 2 months, 6 months. Dedicate a certain amount of time to whatever is the most important thing to you. And in that time, I want you to refrain from engaging in a thing that you are addicted to. So if you're addicted to alcohol, if you're addicted to marijuana, I want you to say, I dedicate 15 days as a sacrifice to this one thing that I love more than anything on this planet. And if you cannot dedicate that time to the thing that you love the most, then you have to say that you love this addiction more than you love that thing that you said is the most important to you. Okay, it's that simple. If your mother is the most important thing to you and you love her more than anything on this planet, I want you to dedicate, I'm gonna dedicate 15 days of no smoking weed to my mother. And if you smoke the next day before that 15 days is over, your new mother is marijuana. That's a fact. All right. And if you can get through that 15 days, then okay, cool. That means your mother is still number one in your life. And you're a mama's boy. I'm joking. But listen, for me, it was God. All right, I'm a God's boy. Everybody know me, know that. When it comes to Jesus, I don't play no games. I don't waste no time. So I dedicated 30 days of sobriety to him. I passed that test with flying colors. And then when I saw myself drifting back off in the wrong direction, I put another 30 days on it. And that 30 days will be coming to an end in 4 days. And if I see myself going back to daily drinking, I'm going to drop another 30 days on it. Because what's happening is every time I do 30 days, my addiction to wine is getting lesser and lesser. Okay? Now, I'm not going to lie. I do want to drink. But I also want to say this. I don't need wine as much as I thought I did. When I was drinking every day, I thought I needed wine to get through. But the fact of the matter is, I don't. I've learned that about myself. I don't need alcohol to make it through the week. I used to think I needed to drink on the weekends. I just found out that I didn't because of my dedication and love to God. And may I say this, if alcohol is something that you are addicted to, your excuse might be that it helps you get through your problems. But might I point out something that's pretty obvious. When you're done drinking the alcohol and the alcohol wears out, guess what? Your problems are still there waiting for you. So what does that mean? The real way to deal with your problems is to deal with them. There is no shortcut to dealing with your issues. You have to actually become a big boy, a big girl, put your big drawers on, put your big girl panties on, and deal with your problems like an OG boss. And stop making excuses for yourself. And most importantly, stop killing yourself. Because at the end of the day, we have to acknowledge that this stuff is not necessarily good for us, is it? Right? So I'm going to go ahead and just challenge you. You better turn off this podcast episode before I make this challenge. I challenge you to go just 5 days. 5 days without your addiction and dedicate it to whatever you love more. And if you're able to get through those 5 days, I want you to DM me on Twitter, TikTok, IG, YouTube, whatever you want. DM me or comment on this video or whatever you got to do. Just 5 days. If you can't do that, then your new mother, your new guy, your new dad is whatever you addicted to. Facts.